What is up, my dudes? Cheap bastard talking to ya, and in today's video I am super excited to share my latest finding. Hear me out, a 6-core 12-thread CPU for just $15. Okay, first of all, look at the specs of this thing. Okay, now that you have analyzed them, you are going to say to me,
Nobody there, there's nobody there for sale for $15.
and you know what? I have only one thing to answer. Free shipping included too. Here's a quick tutorial how to buy this CPU. Step number 1. Open any browser you have except of Internet Explorer, of course. Let's jump straight into testing now. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege on Ultra settings 1080p got an average of 140, a minimum of 60 and a maximum of 207 FPS. Moving on to Overwatch, we also have some insanely good numbers here. On 1080p Ultra settings I got these FPS figures. And do note that if you have RX 580 like I do, they won't get you more FPS out of it, even if you own something like an i9. Now please take a look at this graph. Now you may be wondering, this is not an economics class, is it? Well, the reason I show this to you is that this CPU has some downsides, unfortunately. Just like US economy in 2009. Older games like Rocket League and CSGO can't use all of the cores provided at once, so the slower clock speed took a real hit here. Let's start with Rocket League. I used the maximum settings possible and got these benchmark results. And I mean, they're pretty good and felt buttery smooth as well. But with other processors like i7-3770, I get over 200 FPS easily here, so one oof for the Xeon here. The second oof for this CPU is CSGO. On 1080p Ultra settings I got these figures, and on low settings I got these. Once again, felt smooth and enjoyable, but with other CPUs with faster cores I easily get over 200 FPS. At least I got to enjoy the real CSGO experience.
F1 guys, press F1. Quick guys. Just move on. F1 guys. One more.
Okay, enough of that, let's move on to new games again. Just Cause 3 on high settings 1080p felt much more smooth and crisp than i5-4460, which costs 3 times more than a Xeon. FPS figures are here out in front of your eyes. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is my favorite game when it comes to multi-core support. Xeon got an average of 79, a minimum of 64 and a maximum of 90. Not gonna lie, with these figures on Tomb Raider you could fight Italian Navy or Air Force. Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville also surprised me with its smoothness. On high settings I got these FPS scores and never experienced any kind of stuttering. Red Dead Redemption 2 also didn't disappoint. On medium settings 1080p I got bottlenecked pretty heavily again by the RX 580 8GB. Man, I think I need to upgrade the GPU. Riding on a horse around the block gave me these FPS figures. In Assetto Corsa, after drifting around in this Porsche, I got these FPS figures. But man, I felt super cool after pulling off this drift. And the last game tested today is Dirt Rally 2.0. I used 1080p high settings. The benchmark results should pop up on the screen now. To conclude this whole video, I have a super accurate clip here.
I found the treasure! I found the treasure!
This CPU literally costs less than a 2-pack of 32-meter Gorilla Tape. And who would want to buy that instead of this amazing CPU? Subscribe for future content and don't forget to stay cheap, my dudes. Cheap Bastard out.